The one that's labeled Steve at piano. All right. In noticing that there are two mics, both of which will be operating any moment now, you also may notice after many, many years in television that this would have virtually no bearing whatsoever on anything that you did over there. We can assume then that there probably is another performer coming to the stage.
I certainly hope so. Is the microphone under the piano that was under it last night? Because if it is, I'll have the man who's coming out here, Ted Edmundson, sing into this one, and I'll lie on my stomach on the floor and talk into the other one, because I don't think that one is now on.
Yes.
It's not on too well, but it is on, which is better than being
But
on.
by the time this act starts, Steve, I guarantee you that it's going to be one of the performing experiences of a lifetime. Because here is the gentleman that is the other part. Who got top billing? Who got top billing? Ted? It was the Ted and Steve show in Phoenix, Arizona on KPHO and KOY.
I say we should stamp out close-up tight shots on television.
We're still doing James. Okay, all right?
Great.
Of course, it's a little dumb for me to have the mic, and he's the one over here that's got the lines and is the star, and I, have really nothing to say other than it's really a special experience for me, having known this other gentleman for a number of years in Phoenix. The very special story of the Ted and Steve show. The Ted and Steve show recreated in Phoenix, Arizona, because here's Steve Allen's old partner from Phoenix, Mr. Ted Edmundson. Welcome him, would you please?
Howdy, Ted. You came out just in time. They finally got both mics turned on. Yeah, some people who remember, even among those who care, an even smaller number, that I used to work here at KOI, but several years before that, back around, was it 1942 and 3, around in there? Ted Edmundson and I used to do what was my first radio show here on station KPHO, and it was called Ted and Steve.
Your first and my last.
Well, anyway, the reason Ted got top billing is because he did most of the work. Ted's a very fine singer and plays real good guitar, and I was really more his accompanist than anything else, but we did have a lot of fun. And rather than dazzle you with fancy footwork here, we thought or somebody thought that last night it would be interesting if instead of doing any of today's tunes or my tunes or whatever, we actually went back and did a couple of the songs that we used to sing way back down memory lane in 1942. And why don't we do some of your stuff, Ted? Because Ted writes good tunes, too. Jerome. Yes, this is a song. Ted wrote the words and music to this, and it's about Jerome, Arizona. What key do we do this in?
C.
Key of C. All right, I'll try to follow along, and I'll probably miss every other chord, just as I did on the old show in the old days.
There's a town they call Jerome, where I used to make my home, till I moved away when I was 17. It's way out in Arizona, on a mountain near Sedona. It's the darndest place that you have ever seen. 'Cause it's sliding down the mountain every day. They take account and find they're closer to the valley than they were. There's no telling where they'll wind up once that city makes its mind up. And I'll tell you folks, it's making quite a stir. Now the stories have been told of the copper and the gold that was taken from the mine beneath the town. But the mine played out one day, so the miners moved away, and the town refused to stay up on that mountain. So it's sliding down the mountain every day. They take account and find they're closer to the valley than they were. There's no telling where they'll wind up once that city makes its mind up. And I'll tell you folks, it's making quite a stir. Quite a stir.
Quite a stir.
Quite a stir.
Quite a stir.
Yes, I'll tell you folks, that town ain't where it were.
We sound, you old-timers may notice a resemblance between our sound and that of Buster Fight. One of the old bands here in town. Remember Buster Fight? I remember when he had his last fight. He used to play out at, what was it, Riverside Ballroom? Those were the days. They were terrible days, but those were the days. Do another one, Ted.
You remember Sundown?
Sundown, yeah, that was a beautiful song. Yeah.
This is a little Western song we wrote.
What
I
key
think
is
we
this
did that in C too.
one? See?
Sundown, gotta hit the trail at sundown. Someone waiting down in Santa Fe. Purple Mountain, guide me down the trail at sundown. Starlight shining for me all the way. There's a shack there, back there, and the door is open wide. There's a missile kiss while we go riding side by side. At sundown, gotta hit the trail at sundown. Someone waiting down in Santa Fe. There's a shack there, back there, and the door is open wide. There's a missile kiss while we go riding side by side. At sundown, gotta hit the trail at sundown. Someone waiting down in Santa Fe.
That's great. Ted Edmundson. Beautiful, Ted. Thank you. That's very good. Ted Edmundson. Of the
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a combination of not only super talents, but also a great moment in show business history, the recreation of the Ted and Steve show, and I want to hear it from you folks. Because had it not been for this little known musician, Ted would not be the man he is today, and I promise you that.
You're what?